Warm greetings on behalf of Wednesdays for Water, an initiative of the W4W Foundation, a think tank built as Citizens Collective. I welcome you again to another session of Wednesdays for Water. As you all know that it is a conversation series towards understanding better the nuances of water conservation and management. May I request all the participants to please mute themselves. Thank you so much. The objective is to engage with water experts, grassroots practitioners, policymakers, and youth to learn their thoughts and ideas about the complex intertwined issues associated with water, as well as find possible solutions. We have expanded to have more activities such as Friday Waters, Monday Munching with Women for Water, besides organizing water workshops, water walk and talks, seminars, special courses, conference panel, and so on and so forth. I will highly request you to really check our website, www.w4w.in for more details. So today we are really taking a stride further on a session 2 of basically innovations in water. And it is part 2, as I mentioned, making strides in wastewater technologies. And we have Radhica Kanniganti to moderate the session. So before I give the session to Radhika, let me just quickly introduce my dear friend Radhika, who is also from the Wiki Water Resource Council. Radhika is an environmental engineer by education, and she's worked for over 18 years on environmental management and corporate responsibility, particularly spanning across water, solid waste, and air, with several organizations, just to name a few, Terry Aragyam and US EPA. She's worked extensively on integrated water management models and rural water and sanitation and household water security. She currently heads design and development and green tech startup called Devik Earth and is the founder of Kapok Seed, an innovation platform on environmental sustainability. So welcome, Radhika. I know we have wonderful speakers. So let me just hand over to you and you take the responsibility of the rest of the session, and I'm happy to listen to you.
Thank you, Mansi. Thank you so much. And and thanks for the kind introduction as well. Just to introduce this whole session, Innovations in Water is held about once in 3-4 months. I think this is, as Mansi mentioned, this is part 2. She's been kind enough to allow us the use of Wednesdays for Water to look at some of these innovations. The idea is really to focus on various innovations happening in the water and wastewater sector across the country, and we like to showcase innovations that are big, like have gone commercial, as well as the ones that are still in research stage, right, and have the potential to really bring about great change. So today we'll be talking to a few two innovators who are in very different settings, right? Each in their own way are mentors, guides, entrepreneurs, and they have worked on simple yet really effective solutions for water and wastewater treatment. So our speakers today are Professor Indumathi Nambi and Mr. Chandrashekharan J. Professor Indumathi is from IIT-Madras, and she has worked on some grit-free sanitation models that she's going to be talking to us today about. And Mr. Chandrashekharan is actually has an organization called WATSAN, and he has worked on an innovative solution for water treatment, water purification. So we would love to actually hear more of both of these solutions. And let me hand it over to them. Just let me start by introducing the speakers. So our first speaker today is Professor Indumathi Nambi. She is Professor of Environment and Water Resources Division at in the Department of Civil Engineering, IIT-Madras. She has received her doctorate in civil and has served as a postdoctoral fellow at the University.
I think we lost Radhika's
transport in the groundwater, specifically organic solvents, petroleum hydrocarbons, and can you hear me now? Sorry.
Now you are audible. Go ahead. Go ahead. You are audible. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and other research areas include solid and hazardous waste management, saline water intrusion, fluoride removal, wastewater reuse for agriculture, lakes, and wetlands restoration. She has been leading the effort in inspiring youngsters in innovating on technologies for environmental protection and has been instrumental in nurturing several clean tech startups. So, Dr. Indumathi will be talking today on circular economy models and grid-free sanitation, covering all the current drawbacks in the water and sanitation sector, and as well as presenting an out-of-the-box solution for wastewater management. Dr. Indumathi, over to you.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. And I would like to thank Radhika for inviting us here. Mr. Chandrashekharan and I have already been working together in some areas. Thank you, Malika, our Aquamap CEO from IIT-Madras for connecting me with you. So this presentation I wanted to share with you is is an innovative idea which was part of the competitions we organize in IIT-Madras called Carbon Zero Challenge. Where we are looking at innovative solutions in multiple areas: water, waste, energy, soil conservation, material conservation, resource efficiency, and circular economy. So this idea was actually selected for funding to build a prototype, which gave us an opportunity to actually experiment with our idea and test it out. We call it EcoFert. Basically, a short form of eco-friendly fertilizer. Again, the source of the fertilizer is human urine. So you may be wondering why human urine. If you look at the data, you'll find that most of the nitrogen which we are consuming comes from is actually released in the form of urine. After your body takes it up for bodybuilding, another functional value for the nitrogen and amino acids in your body, most of it is released out through the urine route, the liquid route and the solid route. So we wanted to target that, and it is an easy raw material to work with, as you all would agree, compared to the fecal matter. We are eventually going to target because 30% goes into the solids part and 70% leaves our body through the urine in the form of urea, okay, and amino acids, ammonia, different forms of nitrogen. Okay, so that is the whole concept. Can we recover the ammonia and the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which is getting released through the urine, human urine, and we have also experimented with cow urine, and put it back into the soil as a safe fertilizer? You might have heard people using urine, diluted urine, a lot of reports we hear from around the world, but it is not a safe form of adding urea to the soil directly as human urine. So our technology basically converts it into a safer form and in a much efficient form, which soil and the plants can uptake. Okay. Let me quickly go to the presentation. So I hope you can see my slide.
Visible. Yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So this picture captures the problem we are trying to address. Actually, we are trying to address multiple problems with this one solution. So here you see water shortage, a very, very typical scene in Chennai, in particular in summer months. And this is another scene. The next picture shows like really poorly maintained toilets when you're on the road, and public toilets are in a very pathetic state. Unless you go to a restaurant, a good restaurant, you end up dealing with this when you are on the road, and sometimes no toilets. Okay, and then you see the third picture here is again a familiar scenario for water people working in water, eutrophication, algae, water hyacinth, choking our water bodies and killing our fishes. Okay. And then down below, we have a lot of fertilizer application, which is again killing our soil microbiome and reducing the soil, the fertility, and making the texture worse. Okay, so people have been talking a lot about this. You might have seen Sadhguru taking the worldwide tour to talk about soil conservation, soil quality. Okay, and then the fifth picture here is the wastewater treatment scenario in our country is really poor. 30% of our wastewater is only treated, and it incurs a lot of energy. If you want to remove the nitrogen from our wastewater, that is a big challenge. So how are we going to address all this in one shot? Okay, the solution what I talked to you about, extracting fertilizer, clean and safe fertilizer from human urine, can address all these 5 problems. I'll quickly tell you how. So the objective we started was to extract nutrients from human urine, and to develop the other, right now we are working on the fecal part also to develop a composting system using BSF or other ways to deal with the carbon from our human fecal matter, and then take the water to a higher level of purification. That is what in the pipeline. And then how to create a good business model. Maintaining sanitation, public toilet has always been a liability, and that is why we see poorly maintained toilets. But if we can make a good business model out of public toilets by making them self-sustainable and also profitable, will solve the problem in multiple ways. So it may be quite puzzling for you how we are going to achieve all this. What the solution we are going to we have already developed talks about diverting urine from waterless urinals. Convert the urinals to waterless urinals. That way you're saving a lot of water upfront. And then the diverting water to our on-site treatment system, where we can convert it into usable ammonia and struvite fertilizer. So this actually addresses a lot of solutions in our urban spaces, particularly schools, hostels, public toilet, where public facilities and religious places where we lack toilets. We can have all these public toilets equipped with our system, so we get a free raw material for our system. And this can also address the problem of fertilizer manufacturing, because in fertilizer manufacturing, we use a lot of ammonia is produced by the a process which is highly energy guzzling, and so there's a lot of carbon footprint. And so if this ammonia is coming from human urine in a simpler process, then it saves a lot of carbon footprint in the manufacturing of fertilizers. So 2 problems in one shot. Water savings is happening, sanitation is getting better, you're replacing the chemical fertilizers by these organic fertilizers, and eventually you're removing nitrogen from your wastewater load, saving water bodies from eutrophication, and saving the energy utilization in the wastewater treatment plant. So that is why, that is how we are addressing all the 5 problems in one shot. So this is a brief schematic of the system we have in IIT-Madras, where we have a waterless urinal. We have converted all our urinals in the building where I have an office here to waterless urinal. So upfront, there's a lot of saving happening over the last 2 years with no flush urinals. And then we have a system of 3 unit system, which converts it into ammonium solution, high purity ammonium solution, and high purity struvite, which is nothing but magnesium ammonium phosphate, which can be used as a fertilizer directly. It's a white powder form, solid form, and the remaining water can go through a electrochemical treatment system to remove some of the other like disinfection for other pathogens and other things. And it can be used directly for flushing toilets or diluted with other wastewater streams and used in gardening. So this is the actual picture from IIT-Madras. So where we replumbing, we did some replumbing to divert the urine to a collection tank, which is then pumped to this in the terrace. And then we get these two products out. Okay, so a lot of math has gone into it. A lot of process optimization has gone into it. And now we have a better hold on how much steam we need to put in, how much feed flow rate. A lot of optimization trials have gone into it, and we are getting very good recovery of ammonia. So I really don't want to go into the details of this. And so the second product is Struvite. So Struvite basically is magnesium ammonium phosphate. We use a magnesium salt to precipitate the phosphorus and the remaining ammonia from the urine stream. And so you just have to let it concentrate and then crystallize. We have checked the content of the phosphorus in the Struvite, which is quite significant. And we have also done look at the pathogen trials. Usually urine has some bacterial pathogens, but when you're doing steam distillation, it is the pathogens are disinfected or taken care of. And so the water which comes out after the stripping of ammonia is relatively clean water, and you don't really have to do any disinfection before you put it in the field. Okay. So some more pictures of the scanning electron microscope images of the Struvite we have got. Okay. Yeah, this also shows that there is enough steam distillation takes care of the microbial load. Okay, and then for the fecal matter, we have another solution, which is again very common these days for solid waste, black soldier fly larvae. It feeds on anything you provide it, any carbon source, and they grow and multiply. The larvae is actually doing the job for us, just like your earthworms, vermicompost. And the larvae can also be marketable after they work on the organic feedstock. We have tried it with multiple sources, including vegetable waste. And then we have used cow manure to check. And we have also created an artificial fecal solid composition to check if it works. So this is the setup we have, and it works quite well. And this is the compost, what you get from the black soldier fly larvae. Okay, so we have like Radhika was introducing, we want to go completely grid-free. I think we have tested the compost on germination. These are the cow manure we have used with the black soldier fly larvae, and this is the synthetic fecal matter, because very difficult to make students work with real fecal matter. So we had to use the synthetic fecal matter. Soon they'll be better prepared to, we want to develop a hand-free system, completely automated system. So it's easy for anybody to run and operate the system without any inhibition. Okay. The other option we tried is also converting fecal sludge into carbon by converting it into a biochar. This is the second option we have for the fecal matter. And biochar is very, very valuable as a soil amendment. The nutrients what we apply to the soil can be better retained in the soil if the soil has certain percentage of the biochar. So eventually the carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, what we are getting through the soil, through our plants and the food we eat, we are putting it back into the soil as ammonia, phosphorus, struvite, and also the carbon goes back as the biochar. So a complete circular economy model in sanitation is what we are proposing. At the same time, we are trying to save our water bodies, save the foreign exchange the country is currently spending on importing fertilizers and all that. Okay, so I think there's more with where we did a lot of cow dung and cow urine experiments, and we have been exploring locations where we can install these systems beyond IIT Madras. They've got a very positive response. We got Tamil Nadu Startup Seed grant from the Chief Minister to set it up in one of the public places. We're looking at beaches, Marina or Besant Nagar beach, where they have public toilets, or the Coimbatore bus station and the Coimbatore market, which has a huge footfall. They are the other options, Central Station. So, yeah. Fabrication, a pilot plant is being currently fabricated. Very soon you will be seeing it installed in a public place. So we have different models we want to look at. I think this is one thing what we have in mind for Coimbatore bus station. Have a toilet designed like a bus, where it's a green toilet where our unit will be functioning, and the fertilizer will be used to green the whole environment, including the toilet. So we're looking at like really high-end toilet facilities, even in public places, so that people don't have a hesitation to use these public toilets. Well maintained, because these toilets are going to be generating revenue, which is enough to have personnel employed round the clock. High-end fixtures will be installed so that it is maintenance, requires less maintenance. So, and we are going to make it a profitable by the sale of the fertilizers, what we are getting from the system. So I'll stop here. Just some more images of what we have rendered, architects have rendered for the public toilets, what we are envisaging. I'll stop here and take questions.
That is so impressive, Professor. I think, these are the kind of innovations. I would love to use the bus toilet, for example. I mean, I think that is these are the kind of innovations that will really kind of, sort of game changer, right? And so I'm curious to know, how far are you from creating this pilot? I mean, I see the designs are there and everything. So have you got like funding to actually start implementing this?
Yeah, so we, like I said, the Startup Tamil Nadu has given us a seed grant of 10 lakhs to put up the first pilot. We are looking at a prospect of most probably we will be putting it in one of the public places, so there's a lot of visibility. Yeah, and there are other sources. We are looking at schools. Government schools have really bad toilet facilities. So some NGOs wanted us to put up this facility in the government schools, in one of the government schools in Chennai. So very soon you'll be seeing it. As you saw, the fabrication is already on. In a few months, you should be seeing it operating.
Very nice. And what would be the cost of a unit like this?
Yeah, if you're not considering the toilet cost, the unit for a typical public toilet with, let us say, 1,000 people using it, or 1,000 times, if you're going to be using the public toilets or urinals in particular, we are looking at a cost of 15 lakhs. So it's not very expensive.
Awesome. Okay, so I think, and if anybody who has questions can please put them in the chat box, and we will have a discussion on this. Rithish will be leading a discussion on this after Mr. Chandrashekharan's talk as well. So we will move on to our next speaker. Thank you, Professor, and we look forward to a good discussion at the end. So Mr. Chandrashekharan has been in the industry of water and wastewater for more than 32 years. A degree, interestingly, in plastics technology, has profound knowledge of designing, prototyping, and manufacturing various products in metals, plastic, and other materials. So with nearly 2 decades of experience, he underwent training and obtained a license from IIT, which is CSIR, to manufacture the TerraFill water filters. And with that, he has impacted more than 4 lakh households using the TerraFill technology. He's also given these community purifiers for BSF Jawans. In 2009, he founded WATSAN Envirotech to make the TerraFill water filter available to everybody. And since then, they've gained a prominent place in the rural market. Soon after, the modular toilet unit was established to attend to the sanitary requirements. He is a TEDx speaker at IIM Trichy, and he holds 3 patents to his credit. He's won the National Award from GOI for Innovation in 2012 and 2015. And more recently, he was awarded the Shell Game Changer Award for his game-changing work in water and waste and sanitation. Today, he will be talking to us about his water purifier as well as his sanitation efforts. Mr. Chandrashekhar, over to you. You are muted. Sir, you're muted. Yeah. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, actually today's topic was effluent treatment, I think, and I was thinking that Rithish Madam will give me a lead on effluent treatment, which I can take the lead and start further on that. But let us talk on this thing. This is the passionate way I describe the whole process. What is the mistake of us as a common public of understanding water properly? That is the one thing which is really eating my brain. Since I accidentally became a waterpreneur, actually I was into heritage restoration and other things as a passion. During my weekends, I used to go to Mahabalipuram, taking a bunch of youths to see the beauty of the architecture and the heritage and not to go there for a weekend boost. So similarly, we started looking onto the dilapidated temples in and across Tamil Nadu. I would have traversed almost 2,000 villages down way back in 2009-10. So that took me to a very different league altogether. Wherever I went, water was bad and sanitation was really bad. Nothing was there available. Space. And as water is an elixir of life, and it is going to become a reason for wars in future. And there are a lot of things which we are not really aware. So I want to give some highlight on those aspects. We all invariably use this RO water everywhere, the reverse osmosis. So I jocularly say it is rogue water. In Hindi also it is rogue, giving you diseases. In English also it is rogue because it creates a lot of damage in the ecosystem by usurping a lot of energy, dumping back the saline water into the sea, where this seawater to drinking water projects are running. And thereby what happens? Down the line, more and more salinity will build up in the sea, thereby making the sea totally devoid of flora and fauna in next 10 years. And all the fishermen will go away from that place. That will become a dead sea. The astounding way these desalination plants and RO plants are being planted across the globe is very, very astonishing because of this issue of damaging the ecosystem of the sea, the electricity being used, the water being wasted 70%, and worst come was the membranes, PFAs, which are again needs to be replaced every periodically, is going to create another colossal damage of the solid waste, which cannot be removed or replaced. And see, this is a very interesting document you can see. If you see in America, Guardian raised this big issue. The investigation of drinking water system, saving 19 million Americans. Of 120 systems they have analyzed, 119 has serious toxic levels, including lead, arsenic, and many PFAs, which are entering through our clothing, carpets, non-stick cookware, food containers, thousands of other products. So they don't even know that these PFAs and these membranes are indirectly causing a larger damage than any benefit to the consumer. So what we did was to come out with a simple standalone water filter, just one container above the other, and the filter media is clay candle. Luckily, this technology was from CSIR, but as you know very well, most of the documents from CSIR or the big IITs and other things, they are not scaled up really in a very big way because of the intricacies involved in the patenting process or the know-how. And again, here, when clay is being talked about, the clay from the same pond, what clay you take from the southern region and what clay you take from the eastern region, both have a very dynamic, different morphology and the rheology. So, surprisingly, 154 people took this license from CSIR Bhubaneswar and 153 failed. So I was the only guy clinging on to this because of the benefits I saw in this, because this is pure nanofiltration. It will retain all the contaminants and the chemicals, heavy metals, pathogen, everything on the top. Only water will percolate and go below. And this is just fitting it with nut and washer, and you can rinse, wash, and use it for any number of years. So I could see the potential of making this a easily handleable, do-it-yourself water purifier. And then when I entered, I never knew that there are larger demands like arsenic or fluoride in the whole system. So I started developing arsenic removal filter. Again, I took the technology from IIT-Madras only. Dr. Pradeep had the document. He had the scientific paper published. But converting it into a product was a challenge, which I took it up. Now we have done whole of West Bengal, Punjab and other places. Again, fluoride, in fact, arsenic gives you cancer. And many people in India, almost some 16 to 17 states, are affected because of arsenic and fluoride issue. Again, fluoride eats away your bone and teeth. I've seen on whole of village, Brahman Tola in UP, the whole cattle and man, women, children, everybody are dragging their feet to walk around. Similarly, you can see this Belandur Lake in Bangalore. The froth which is being thrown around from the chemical factories and other things are being choking up. And there are simple things which we wanted to look around. Why don't we use a natural source like gallnut or soap nut, anything to wash your body, or stop heating the toilets with the acid? What Akshay Kumar proudly shows, and Rickett and Coleman and big companies sell tons and tons of normal acid to us, thereby killing the bacteria instantly in the toilet and making the fecal material stay as fecal material forever. To complicate it, we take the whole thing into a larger STP, keep on churning it with the aerator and whatnot, and still the material will be broken down to finer particles, but they will not be eaten away by the pathogen because the acidity is still there. Again, to neutralize, they do some chlorination, then they do some condensation and whatnot. All these technologies were brought to us by force because of the, don't run so fast, because of the MNCs dumping obsolete technologies to us. And again, if you take the textile industry, that is the largest industry where the chemical contamination is very high and the water is being dumped into the river like Tirupur, Jaipur and other things. There are alternatives like air dyeing, completely using oxygen and air totally to dye the material and not use water at all. But India has hardly taken up such ideas. In fact, just to wash one t-shirt, 25,000 liters of water goes waste. And you see all the top companies, the G20 countries, they are the one who are using maximum textiles and they are the one who are polluting a lot. But all the blame game on the climate change comes to poor countries like India, Bangladesh and other places. Again, if you take the pharma industry, the medicals are dumping us and killing our life because of unwanted dumping of chemicals into our bodies for even the smallest of small hand pain or anything like that. And beyond that, there is no single technique that has been found to remove all the relevant pollutants from wastewater built by the pharma industry. This is really astounding. And you go to Ankleshwar, Bharuch or Hyderabad, where the maximum pharma companies are there. In fact, they say sins are washed in Ganges, but it is washed in all water bodies. I should say jocularly, crocin, nanacin, erythromycin, all the sins are washed in every water possible, and the water really tastes bad. Again, chromium pollution is another big subject which needs to be talked about. And here also there is no tangible solution which have really gone in a big way or scaled up like anything. Then you take all other industries who are really polluting. Take the cement industry, the dairy products which are really killing, the sugar factories where the molasses are just left out in the water, then other basic chemicals like petroleum industry, fertilizers and pesticides, paper and pulp. In fact, you go to this the down south near Tirupur and Porur and other places, the paper industry just dumps out that brown color water across. It has a very high foul smelling foul smell, and you pump in the water in a village, it comes in brown color with very funny taste and color. Nobody can even drink it. And again, the electroplating industry and other things. Sadly, even this type of pollutions are there. The monitoring centers are very, very poor. You see how much exponentially it has gone up. Like in 1778, it is 79 to maximum 2,500 monitoring stations, and there is no, we are running so fast actually. So there is no really mandate on arrest the rut in the beginning itself. So I found out instead of going and doing the water filter at the end, we have started now getting into the industry, taking at the big bull by horn, like taking the textile industry, pharma industry, leather industry and paper industry to start with, using algae, bioenzymes, bacteria to remediate the whole thing, because nature will do its job when there is a calamity happening within. So this is what I believe, and we need not see such pictures again. The child who is trying to pick up some plastic rag from the river is totally engulfed with all the flour and plastic waste dump over, and this is from Jaipur, this picture. He is again trying to collect some plastic waste and make money out of it, wash it and other things, but the contaminants which are really leaching his body, giving him skin cancer should not happen again. So this is what my prayer is, and I wish there are a lot of opportunities for the Indian entrepreneurs or the innovators to come in and take each one of these bull by horn. Let them not handle everything. Like I have focused purely on the rural market. If you say the population of India, 73% is the Indian rural market, why should I waste my time on creating more and more RO or complex system? Rather, I am, in fact, my network is purely through the NGOs and self-help group. We have not gone to the trader-dealer network because they have doubled the price. Again, we have not gone through the government because it is a very colossal process of giving money above and below and all this nonsense. So I have a very good network of all the big NGOs, self-help groups. That way we were able to reach these 4 lakh households. And now we are stepping up the gas in the other end, in the front end, where the rut should be stopped in the very beginning itself. And thanks to all my NGOs and partners and the grant money which have come in, we are not gone for any funding. We are bootstrapped, and whatever grant comes in, we put it in the next bigger project. So we have done for 200 liters, 500 liters, 2,500 liters. In fact, complete automated machine, which can also dispense water at your ease. And now we are bringing this water on wheels. Another concept where women need not walk miles to fetch water. It can be on any vehicle, the water which is remediated and given to them, because nanofiltration doesn't waste water, it doesn't need electricity. Other one is, if there is no in the vehicle or if there is no money at all, there's a big roller drum in which the water is poured and she will just roll it to her home and reach out to her home, or the child, most probably, who rolls the water. So we call it as water on wheels. Another good thing is my team has completely 99% women from the BPL families. They have been trained in a corporate way with nice uniform and other things. They are really the backbone of my team. And also the good thing is we have taken up an abandoned factory, a rice mill, old rice mill, converted it into a factory, and the farmer is now getting every month some decent rent so that he can sustain himself. So wherever I look, I see the sustainability part, not spend much on SID costs and units. CapEx is very low, and we are bootstrapped and we are happy. Our real aim will be to go to 4 million households rather than 4 lakh households. And I request all of you to join hands with me to make sure this dream becomes true. Another good thing is water testing is a big pain in the rural areas. You go to the PhD lab, it takes almost 20 days to get the water tested and then tell you. By the time the person would have died. So we are now training women to do it with the hand and the gadget. She can become the water remediator, the water doctor, not a Hema Malini per se, just because she is appearing in a TV ad, but the real water doctors we wanted to create in every place so that women can decide, because she is the finance controller, she is the health controller, she is the one who is a fulcrum for the whole family and the money stick family, that she is the one who is controlling the whole pulse of making things better for the family. So we believe that the unemployed graduate girl in a village can be trained well for water and soil testing again. Because if these two are given us 2 things, she can take care of agricultural water, agricultural excess, because what is excess in water, like potassium nitrate and ammonia and other things, is good for the soil. Maybe there it could work. So if she can able to test both the things in one go, she can become a real remediator and the game changer in the whole plan. That is our next plan. We want you to recommend us to good NGOs who are in the last mile in the woman and child friend. we wanted to collaborate with them and take this journey further. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chandra sir. That was amazing. I think wherever there's water and water issues, I think Chandra sir is there to take care of it in whatever way. So going forward, I would like to introduce you to Rithish Nina Alex, who's going to be our discussant for today. And he has completed his graduation in chemistry from St. Xavier's College, Mumbai, and currently pursuing his postgrad in water science and governance from the Terry School of Advanced Studies. Rithish, I would like you to, can you take this discussion forward and engage the participants?
Yes, sure. Good evening, everyone. So first of all, I want to thank W for W Foundation and Dr. Mansi for providing me with this opportunity. So I also want to thank our two speakers for enlightening with their wisdoms on this matters. It was such a wonderful talk. So my first question would be that what all can be done to encourage more female participation in the field of water treatment? Because as we have seen that since it is an engineering background, more and more females are not very much in this field. So how can we encourage more female participation in this field?
Choke them to death, I would say. Just take them to a place where everything is totally bad, gone, ivory. Put them on, like putting them in a prison for 10 days. The so-called elite, educated elite will understand, bloody, what should I do? So, see, I told you, like when I went to every village for photo documenting the heritage, I was thinking I'm doing a great service by photo documenting, telling the government that these dilapidated temples, all the rare sculptures should be preserved, but took me to something else. Had I drunk that water, I would have become sick. Next day morning, had I stayed back, I take a balti full of water and go out near the pond or behind a tree and defecate myself. So that really pushed me to the other end of just throwing away my job. And WATSAN, in fact, on the sanitation front, we have developed a complete toilet using the waste glass fiber dumped by the windmill companies. You know how much these companies are dumping? 30,000 tons of glass fiber waste. Suslan, Gamesa, and all these people are just dumping. They have a huge tract of land near their factory. They'll just dig the mud. They have own JCBs. They'll just dump it and close it, and no, even grass will grow there. So seeing this, see, as a plastic engineer, I see that as a wealth. And in a village, typically we don't get cement. The day I want to really pull out money like Swachh Bharat and other thing, they give very paltry money, like 12,000 rupees. But you want to build a quality toilet, everybody knows in the world that 30 to 35,000 is needed to build a toilet which will not fall on your head. So if he is putting that money, cement will not be there. Sand again is ripped off from all the river, and sand is being taken away by politicians only. I will not get a GST bill. Water is not available. Bricks are not available. Tell me, how can I make it a Swachh Bharat when really I want, and you know the numbers, they say that the total ODF in the village, which is not really there happening. Because the asbestos roof would have flown out, the tin door would have flown out. So they put their cattle or one maybe goats inside the old delivery. They close the toilet with the sheet and put some goats inside and close it. So everybody don't take your water bottles and whatnot. Leave them for 10 days and see what hell is all about. Because the mill of Ganges without taking still living on it. Go to 21 Paraganas, West Bengal, the child can't have money to wear a shirt. Girls, till they come of age, they don't wear a shirt. I have seen them. And jute is easily available there. They wear jute sacks as trousers. And the boy is asking, sir, arsenic removal means, do you remove arsenic 5+ or 2+? The science teacher has taught him the seriousness of arsenic. Unfortunately, he doesn't know who is there to remediate that arsenic. So awareness is more in the village. Actually, we think villages are not environment. They are more environment friendly. We only dumped the car into them. We dumped the refrigerator into them. We dumped the AC into them. All the modernity, we only taught them. In fact, they are more climate consciousness. They were organic. We dumped the chemical fertilizer into them and say green revolution. Some great gentleman, I don't want to name him, but he has spoiled the whole country. So we have to go back to our roots, go back to our natural way of doing things. I think we will be having revelation on our own. Unlearn and learn. This is the short and long answer. Thank you.
is for Chandrashekharan. What will be the challenges faced by the people, by people in adopting these water treatment technologies?
Okay, why people are not adopting? You mean to say that? No,
I am saying that what all challenges would be there when we, what are the challenges faced by the people in adopting these filters?
What are the...
Why don't people want to adopt these green and friendly filters when it is provided and going expensive RO, which is shown?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Answer is already there. They are charmed with Hema Malinis and Tendulkar selling it. I don't have anybody like that to advertise. Big companies spend almost 60 to 70 crores only on advertisement and marketing. In fact, people ask one good question, what TDS does it reduce? Can you tell me what is TDS? It is total dissolved solid. Can anybody say one case where people have died because of high TDS? One case in the whole, you Google it. It is surprising that this RO people have just driven that into our brain. Actually, the killer is not TDS. In fact, once another surprising fact I'll tell you. The IS 10,500 standards, before ratification, it was having the limit of 200 and 500, permissible limit and admissible limit. Suddenly, it jumped up to 500 to 2,000. How can somebody in the body where they are adjudicating the standard, from 500 they can raise it to 2,000? Because there was a lot of furor happening that TDS is not a killer. All these RO companies are dumping their technologies to us by force. You see, most of the plants in the countries where MLAs and MPs cut out the ribbon for with their large fund are defunct. They are white elephants standing there. In 3 months, the membrane will be gone kaput. Nobody will be there to replace it. So this is where education is more important, and that is what we are doing. So that is a tough question because we don't have the money power to really throw it around, make it more visible. That is why we took the alternative route of educating the NGOs. In fact, all the top big NGOs in Google, like you say, like United Aid, Water.org, WaterAid, everybody are buying from me regularly on an annual contract. Because these filters go on and on for any number of years, just rinse wash it. So it needs a lot of awareness actually.
Okay, sir. So my next question would be to you, Professor Indumathi. So how can we encourage young minds and community to come forward in the field of wastewater, since it is in now today's context also it is seen as a field which is not very good or which is not having very fame. So how can we encourage young minds? Apart from public awareness, what all can be done?
Yeah, see, I teach environmental engineering, wastewater treatment. So the first day in the class, I tell them to change the name. I said that there should be a policy to change the name from, usually it's called sewage, and that became a taboo. So people started calling it wastewater now, and now wastewater is also like a taboo word. So I think we should change the name first to used water. It is not wastewater. Right? It's just like a used paper or a used t-shirt. It is just a used water. And your one famous environmental person in Chennai, he usually tells a waste is not a waste until it is wasted. Right? He talks about it in the solid waste context. Same thing I would like to say about wastewater. This is the thing. For the first week, I only drive this concept into my students before I even talk about engineering and science of wastewater, right? So that mindset leaves and they look at it as an engineering problem and not like have a taboo or stigma around it, even touching the wastewater. You know? And I take them to a wastewater treatment plant in Chennai. This is actually a wastewater treatment plant which is completely treating the water to better than drinking water quality standards. Okay, this is they use this water for cooling water. Okay, it's a big diesel-based power generation plant in Chennai, which uses wastewater from the Chennai Metropolitan Wastewater Supply Board, treats it to a high purity level, even up to RO beyond the regular wastewater treatment. And then I take the water and I drink it in front of my 100+ students, okay, to tell them that it is possible to treat wastewater to drinkable levels. And I challenge them to drink it. Who are the really brave ones who can drink this? And a few students do come up, though they believe in what I say because I demonstrated by drinking it. So I think there should be some bold, there should be a lot of awareness message. And there should be, like what Sir said, probably Hema Malini and Ajit and Surya coming and demonstrating this. Oh, only then we need that kind of, publicity because common people don't understand it. An IIT professor comes and talks. They say, these people are only talking theory, it's not practical. Maybe when somebody else shows it, then they will believe it. Right? So first, the stigma should be gone. We are all driven to that condition. If you can take water from a river, which is contaminated, you don't know that the rivers are carrying the wastewater of an upstream town or a city. Yeah. Right? Because you don't see it. No, you just believe it's good water. Okay. But if they see something getting discharged, even if it is high purity, in Bangalore, they say that the treated wastewater which is discharged into the river, Kaveri, is much purer than the water which is running in Kaveri. Right? So these data probably should be shown to public to believe it. Okay, and technology is there. We can make used water reusable. The first thing is change the nomenclature, demonstrate it, so show that technology works, and then people will believe it. There should be like a mass movement. And we are all pushed to that scenario now. You don't get fresh water anywhere. You have to just drill 500 meters or below to get the good water. All the contaminants, even groundwater is contaminated. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody can read out the other questions.
Any questions on the chat box?
Yeah.
So next question would be, it's from the chat box. Can the speaker throw some light on the cost of process and the cost of kg of the extract?
Okay, from our unit, I don't have in terms of kg, but usually we have estimated the return of investment is about 3 years, even for a system which can 1,000 liters per day system. The return of investment is 3 years, which is pretty good for any investment. So after that, it becomes a profit-making business. So definitely the costs are comparable to chemical fertilizer costs. But again, the biggest killer is the subsidies, government subsidies for fertilizer. So if we want really organic fertilizer coming from such sources, okay, it's again a very sensitive topic. If government can take a policy that, so we did a small calculation. Okay, if all the treatment systems or toilets in the country with 1.3 billion population, if we can harvest urine from just the male population, 50% of this 1.3 billion, 10% of the fertilizer consumption in the country can be substituted with this fertilizer. So if you're going to include women also, we are looking at that also. Women urinals are coming up in the market. If we can divert that, then 20% we'll be able to supply to the fertilizer industry, organic fertilizer. And then if you're looking at fecal matter also, if we're going to extract, almost 50% of the fertilizer consumption in the country can be substituted with just human waste. So we can just add on like this, and the cost is quite competitive. So the government policy should be having a relook at substituting these with chemical fertilizer. And then I think definitely the cost will be comparable to the fertilizers.
Okay, then my next question would be, how will we ensure that the waterless urine are free from bacteria or the germs? Since there is no water or there is no cleaning process, then how can we ensure that it is free from bacteria? Because as you have mentioned,
the urine will always have bacteria. I'm not saying that it is free from bacteria. So you're not flushing you're not flushing your urinal with water, and it is actually a good way. You just all we have to do the maintenance. One thing, only when water mixes with urine, there is hydrolysis happening and your ammonia releases, and you have all the stench, odor issues. As long as the water doesn't mix with the urine, there's no odor issues. And we have a trap. If at all there is ammonia released from the pipeline coming into the urinal and causes odor issues, there is a trap we install, which cuts off the odor coming from the bottom. So odor issues are not there. It's right there in the same building where I am. Bacteria will still be there in the urine, and that's why the steam distillation is taking care of it. So you don't need any disinfection system downstream.
Okay, ma'am. So I will just give back to Radhika to continue it or to conclude the presentation.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Rithish. Thank you for that discussion. And thank you, Professor Indu and Mr. Chandrasekhar. I think that, the technologies are really state of the art and really need to be scaled, I think, for good impact. And I think that, it is really interesting to see, even from the price point of view, how these technologies actually make sense. And, aside from, all the energy usage and, the chemical usage and everything. So I don't see any other questions in the chat box. I think one thing, I want to thank you again for being on this session and sharing with us these technologies. I think the idea is really to spread awareness on this, and hopefully, if there's any way we can kind of collaborate and make this into really a kind of a bigger scalable kind of product. I think, reach out to everybody on the session here who can maybe connect with with NGOs, connect with funding agencies, or whatever is needed to help scale these products. I think these are innovations that are worth kind of being scaled and kind of spreading. So with that, thank you so much. Thank you all thank you participants. Thank you, Professor Indumathi, Mr. Chandrasekhar, for sharing your knowledge. And handing it over to you, Mansi.
Yeah, thanks, Radhika. Thank you so much for the session, and thanks to Indumathi ma'am and also Chandrasekhar sir. It has been a wonderful session talking to you and also listening to your work, because I have been knowing you both for so long. So it's really nice to have a live interaction with you. At the same time, thanks our young discussant Rithish, who could really do wonderful question and answer with all the speakers. So may I just have the honor to also thank Radhika for really coming back to us and take up the session again, because I know it's not easy to really coordinate these sessions. So we will continue our water conversations as we have been doing, and I'm very pleased to share with all of you that we are reaching 100 sessions. So we like to thank all of you for your support and encouragement to really make the Wednesday session meaningful for us. And at the same time, we also want to announce to you that when we complete 100 sessions in December, we are also planning Water Festival on January 11 and 12 to be hosted by IIT Hyderabad. So more details to come. So do keep joining us in the coming Wednesdays and the Wednesdays to come, as I say, very with a lot of love to all of you. And do keep looking at our website, www.w4w.in, to get the latest updates. So our next session of Wednesdays for Water is on December 7th, when we again come back with another, sequel session of Future of Water and Youth. In the first part, we had students from Azim Premji University, where they conducted Rivers of Life. In the second part, which is on December 7th, we are going to talk about, the Water Studio, which is conducted as a first-year foundation program in Ahmedabad University of Ahmedabad. So we will have students as well as faculty who are conducting the Water Studio with them. So we look forward to having you again and again. And thanks all the participants who have really actually helped us bring the Wednesdays for Water conversations so far. Please take care of yourself, and we look forward to having you again and again. Thank you so much.